Joining us now is James Billow, newsroom editor at Unheard. James, thanks so much for joining us. He vowed to be the president of peace, and Donald Trump has just announced that Israel and Hamas have signed off on the first phase of his Gaza peace plan. Now, moments before Donald Trump made this announcement on social media, Trump was taking questions from reporters, and Secretary of State Marco Rubio passed Donald Trump this note with an urgent update on peace negotiations. Look at this.
Treasury with all these different departments to find the criminal conspiracy.
Okay. I'm just given. I was just given a note by the Secretary of State saying that we're very close to a deal in the Middle East, and they're going to need me pretty quickly. So I will take a couple of more questions.
Donald Trump posted on Truth Social, "I'm very proud to announce that Israel and Hamas have both signed off on the first phase of our peace plan. This means that all of the hostages will be released very soon, and Israel will withdraw their troops to an agreed upon line as the first steps toward a strong, durable and everlasting peace. All parties will be treated fairly. This is a great day for the Arab and Muslim world, Israel and all surrounding nations, and the United States of America. And we thank the mediators from Qatar, Egypt and Turkey who worked with us to make this historic and unprecedented event happen. Blessed are the peacemakers." Now, James, this is, of course, the first phase, but the president deserves an enormous amount of credit for this. What did you make of it?
Well, it's not often that Donald Trump cuts a press conference short, so you know it was a big deal already. I have to say, if he can pull this off, and it looks as though he is, it's the deal of the century. It's the deal of Donald Trump's lifetime, and it's just a shame that the Nobel Peace Prize is being announced later this week, because I genuinely believe this could have been a pretty good pitch for it. What Donald Trump has done is what his predecessors have failed to do, and the facts are that if these hostages are returned, he can somehow convince Hamas, maybe even Israel, to disarm, and there is sort of this partial withdrawal from Gaza. He deserves a huge amount of credit for what he's accomplished, and the same goes for his whole administration and the negotiators in the Middle East. So, yeah, this is without a doubt the most extraordinary thing I've seen in the last 10 or so years.
Absolutely extraordinary, and the initial reports are that some of those hostages may be coming home as early as Sunday. James, I wonder what Greta Thunberg and other pro-Palestinian activists are going to be doing with their time now.
Oh, God, I dread to think. I mean, fortunately, she has now been deported from Israel, so she can't at least make any more features down there. But we can only hope she's returned to Sweden and found a new environmental cause to get worked up about, because as far as this is concerned, it's over.
Now, look, Trump was hosting a roundtable at the White House on Antifa. This is what the president had to say.
The epidemic of left-wing violence and Antifa-inspired terror has been escalating for nearly a decade. At universities, Antifa has organized riotous mobs to attack campus speakers. I see it all the time, and these are agitators, anarchists, and they're paid. And you'll find that out. You'll be finding it out very soon. You should see what we have on these people. These are bad people. These are people that want to destroy our country. We're not going to let it happen.
Plenty of independent journalists attended and spoke about how they've been targeted by Antifa-like thugs and who have been protesting outside Portland's ICE facility. Just less than a week ago, independent journalist Nick Salter was arrested after he was allegedly targeted by ICE. But listening to Donald Trump there, he's certainly cracking down.
Yes, Antifa is a notoriously difficult group to track down because it's diffuse, it's decentralized, there isn't a clear leadership. But as you mentioned, these are people of violence, they are thugs, and they should be treated as such. I actually find it bizarre that some of Trump's predecessors, Biden and Obama, did not make a similar designation, because Antifa have been causing problems in America for years, if not decades. And it's high time that they've been come to be dealt with, because as things stand, my concern is that political violence is becoming increasingly normalized in America. And if there's no stop put to these groups, then it's just going to carry on and carry on and carry on. So I hope this designation makes a difference.
Speaking of political violence, let's talk about Jay Jones. And many Democrats are refusing to abandon Virginia Attorney General candidate Jay Jones after it was revealed that he sent text messages calling for the Republican former State House Speaker Todd Gilbert to be shot in the head. The messages are so disturbing, giving plenty of detail around the way he fantasizes about how he'd like that violence to be carried out against his opponent. Now, Nancy Pelosi was asked about Jay Jones today, and this was her response.
A scandal over text messages in which he, the Democrat, said that the GOP Speaker of the House of Delegates should get 2 bullets to the head for how he paid tribute to a former moderate Democratic lawmaker who died. He has apologized. Should he get out of the race?
Well, that's up to the people, the leaders in Virginia. They have said he has apologized. What I understand is they say that on balance he's the better person to be Attorney General. But that's up to them. But I wish there would be enough fuss of all the times that people have said they were going to put a bullet in my head right in public.
Yeah, I don't know what to make of that. I think it's really a new low when you've got high-profile Democrats essentially continuing to endorse this candidate by not calling on him to withdraw.
It's a strange thing to see for a party that supposedly prides itself on civility and decency. These messages are twisted, they're sick, and I would condemn it if it came from a Republican just as I do as it comes from a Democrat. I cannot believe that Democrats have not expressed any discomfort or at least criticized what's going on here. Now, from what I've been reading, Jay Jones has called off a fundraiser, and I have a sneaking suspicion that this campaign may not last all the way through. All I can hope for is that that does happen and he is replaced, because for the good of the body politic, this is a pretty sickening thing to see.
100%. Now, there have been a few meltdowns in the CBS newsroom over the news that the brilliant journalist Bari Weiss has become the new editor-in-chief following Paramount's Skydance $150 million acquisition of her outlet, The Free Press. And it's pretty funny to read some of the commentary around this. One staff member apparently said it's utterly depressing. I saw another Guardian article today saying that she's a weird and worrisome choice as top editor for CBS News. I mean, of course, this Liberal meltdown was going to happen. It's to be expected. I mean, the left, I suppose, have such an issue with some of the reporting that is carried out on the Free Press. It challenges DEI, gender ideology, and of course media narratives against Israel. And looking at CBS's news coverage, particularly last year, we saw the editing of Kamala Harris's interview to make her sound better than she actually was. They also admitted to editing Joe Biden's interview to make him sound all there, which would have been quite difficult. Look, James, I want to get your perspective on all of this. I certainly think it's great for journalism that she'll be bringing a fresh perspective.
I think so too. And I think the Free Press is one of the few rays of light in a pretty dark world in media. The legacy media in particular, and CBS is a real standout here. There has been zero introspection and zero kind of interest into why they have lost the faith of the public. The media in America, and actually for most of the Western world, is one of the least trusted institutions in the planet. So it's no wonder that they've got an outside choice to come in and try and shake things up. Bari Weiss the Free Press's office is actually 2 blocks down from Unheard's in New York, and we think they do great work. We should be proud and we should commend exactly what she's accomplished. She has turned a Substack into a $150 million enterprise in the space of 5 years. CBS could only dream of something like that. And I really hope this is the wake-up call the journalists at those kind of institutions get.
100%. James, I want to ask you about something that's happening here in Australia. I know we normally cover global issues, but the Sex Discrimination Commissioner, Dr. Anna Cody, is now facing pressure to resign after saying she does not understand the term biological men. So she was grilled after making comments last month where she claimed that we are not one version of woman and great diversity is among women. And she now says that she doesn't understand the term biological man. Listen to this.
There are a range of people who identify as women who are women.
Did you mean that biological males can be women?
Men. So I think that we have different language that perhaps you're using than I would use. So I don't understand the term biological men.
Right. This might be a short tranche of questions then.
So she's on more than $300,000 a year thanks to the Australian taxpayer. Here in Australia, we have situations where biological men are in female prisons. Biological men have been given the right to access female-only apps. The role of the Australian Sex Discrimination Commissioner is supposed to be to defend women from discrimination, and she apparently no longer understands what a biological man is, what that means, James. I feel like most of the world has really moved on from this woke nonsense, but not here in Australia.
Yeah, I thought so too. This is like the Japanese soldier that's still fighting on the Filipino island, not realizing the war ended 20 years ago. It's just shocking that these people are still in positions of power and they still cannot answer a question that any toddler on the street could answer. I mean, imagine asking a politician this 40 or 50 years ago. A journalist would have been laughed out of the room. Now they only have to ask one question and it completely downfunds them. And I just cannot get my head around why some people are so committed, this ideological commitment to a basic mistruth, an untruth, a falsehood, and they persist all the way through to 2025. It just beggars belief.
Yeah, it's a basic truth, as you say. Finally, I want to finish with what's happening in the UK. Nigel Farage remains ahead in the polls, and this week he announced that 20 councillors, or Conservative councillors, defected to Reform. Now, listening to Nigel Farage, he's really on point. He just recently vowed that he'd rather go to jail than carry a digital ID card. He continues to be very strong when it comes to the small boat crisis, which reached another milestone with 35,000 migrants crossing the channel illegally this year, James. So it doesn't surprise me.
No, the migrant crisis is not getting any better. Despite what Keir Starmer has agreed with France, we are now on track to hit 50,000 arrivals by the end of the year, which would be a record. In fact, we look set to surpass that record by the end of this month. So really not much is happening on that front. And it's no surprise that Nigel Farage and the Reform Party is surging ahead. Now, would you believe it? The Tory party actually had a conference this week, and it was such a forgettable experience that no one really knew it even happened. So once again, I don't even think that Nigel Farage is going to be in power in a coalition. I think he's looking set for a majority, and I think 2029 is going to be the most consequential election of our lifetime.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. James Billow, newsroom editor at Unheard, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much.